Hello, I wanted to talk about a really lovely trust building exercise that you can do with your dog, and it's based around helping your dog to understand that they don't need to guard things that they find valuable and they don't need to protect things that they find valuable. And this exercise is based around teaching our dog to leave an item alone when we ask them to, or swapping an item when we're asking them to swap an item, or even just dropping an item from their mouth. And you can see that that can be very helpful if it's an emergency situation where our dog might have picked something up in their mouth that could be toxic or harmful to them. But the mainstay of the exercise is just to build trust and help our dog to understand that when there are resources around that they find valuable, that they don't have to see us as a threat to those resources, because they can trust us, because we are going to be acting consistently in those everyday situations that might occur. Now, there's a couple of things to remember, and the main thing is to use high-value treats that your dog doesn't get every day, or your puppy doesn't get every day, nice, aromatic, tasty treats. And on the flip side of that, we want to start practicing this exercise with items that your dog doesn't find that interesting, things that might hold their interest for a little while, but things that they really don't love to interact with. And that way we can start with those low value items and then gradually include items of higher value as your dog becomes more successful and you're extending on this exercise. Now, the third thing is to always make sure that you're being proactive, because it's very important that we don't create a source of frustration or confusion when we're helping our dog to learn this exercise, this skill. And being proactive is making sure that we're understanding our dog's body language in everyday situations and when they might be feeling conflicted or anxious in a situation, because we certainly want to avoid our dogs feeling anxious in a situation where there are resources that they find valuable. So here's a video where I just pressed record and Marco and I decided to work on the swap exercise or the exchange exercise. So I'm going to offer Marco a bit of a start cue. And those toys aren't very interesting. He is having a bit of a sniff, but it's going to be very easy for me to get his attention away from them because I have a nice treat that's more exciting than what's on the floor. And just diverting his attention back there because he's more interested in my treat pouch. So I'm going to lure him away from those toys again and just let him return back to the toys if he wants to, but they're not very interesting, so that's fine. I'm going to make them more interesting by poking some treats in there for him. Hopefully that will pique his interest a little bit more so I can lure him away from them. And he's finished the treats and I'm just letting him go back to the items if he wants to. Now I'm going to pick up the item, and then when he's finished eating the treats, I'm putting the item back. So that's a win-win. And Marco's learning that he's being rewarded for turning his attention away from that item, but he also gets the item back when he's finished his treats. So Marco's showing some interest in his toys, so I'll try again. Try to get his attention away from the toys. He's being rewarded for that, and I'm picking up the item. He's finished eating the treat, and I've put the item back down for him. Make that little stuffed toy a little bit more interesting for him. I'll try again, lure him away. And I'm just reaching out towards the item, but I'm not picking it up. And we'll try that again. So I've just given Marco a little bit more food because he's looking at that treat pouch. He's more interested in the treat pouch. Okay, so I'll just move that closer to him to get his interest in the item. Now I've picked the item up. Marco's finished eating the treat and I put the item back down for him. I'll make that chew item a little bit more interesting by poking some more treats in there to get his interest on that chew item or the chew toy. I'm going to try to lure him away from it again, and I'm just reaching down but not removing it and Marco's finished that treat, but he's got the toy back again. Getting his attention back on that chew item, and I'm going to lure him away, and I'm going to pick up the item and then put it back when he's finished eating that treat. So this is creating really positive associations with those low value resources, which are his chew toys and his little stuffed toy there. And just one more time, and I'm picking up the item. Marco's going to finish eating that chew toy, and I'm going to put it back down for him. And that's just a nice little exercise just to demonstrate the beginnings of asking your dog to swap or leave an item. So that's a really nice trust building exercise that you can do at any time. But as you can see in that environment, it was nice and quiet. There were no distractions. Marco had my full attention and I had Marco's full attention. And it's important when you're extending on this activity, if you're introducing new people into situations where there might be food around, it's always important and a good idea to be consistent and involve those people that are going to be in those everyday situations with your dog where those things can happen, and practice that game with them, that activity with them, so your dog's familiar with a whole range of people in those situations where there may be some resources that your dog finds valuable. So I hope you enjoyed that exercise, and if you have any questions, please put them in the comments section below, and if you're wanting to find out more about how to extend on this activity, let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And don't forget, you can also purchase my new online course, and the link's in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk again soon.